Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cultivate and Keep, where we talk about what it means to be a man as a Christian. This is Jeremy, and this is Corey. I'm Corey. That's Jeremy. And,
Solid, Corey.
Well, thanks, man.
Bravo.
How you doing?
I'm great, man.
Yeah, hanging in there?
Yeah.
Just chilling?
Yes, I am. I'm good.
That's good, dude. I like this topic. I got some thoughts to share, so excited to talk about it.
You want to jump into it?
Yeah, let's go, bro. Let's
No chitter chatter.
no chit chat. Just get
no
straight into the
nonsense.
meat, dude.
All right, let's get into this. Yeah. So I want to talk about the idea, basically, of kind of like just perseverance and like thinking like how badly do you want it? Like, identifying like what is it that you want out of your life? Like what are some goals you have? What are some things you want to accomplish? And like how badly do you want that? And I don't know. I don't. When I phrase it like that, like, do you want it? Like, I think I don't like the vibe
Like a
of
motivational speaker,
yeah,
like
that's
a Tony Robbins.
not
kind of
all
vibe.
what I'm. That's not how I feel inside. That's not like the vibe I want to give off. But I think there is something to say, like when you can identify like a goal that you have and something you want, and like you go do it. Like just simply just like make it happen. And it's kind of funny. I was reminded when I was in like freshman year, 8th grade freshman year, I was a hooper, right?
Okay.
We're really into basketball.
Yep.
And I also liked rap music, and I was really into it.
Oh no, where's
And
this
I
going?
remember this song. You probably remember it. It was called Ambition. And I think the words are like, something, 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 like they'd love me for my ambition. And I used to love that song, dude. It was my jam.
Get you pumped?
And I'm reminded because I won't say who it was, but someone that I know, and if you're listening, you probably know them too, that's kind of in our community, like posted an Instagram story a few weeks ago. I think they're like working out or something. I don't know. But they had that song playing, and I was like, nice. I was like,
brings you back.
yeah, dude. I was like, I approve. That's a total like side note tangent. But anyway, yeah, I guess just the thought of like the power of like desire and like really just wanting something, and like are you willing to work for it, and understanding like that may mean some hard days, long days, and being tired and feeling worn out, but like that's okay and that's good because that's part of the process. So
Yeah.
kind of in a nutshell what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, and I like talking about this because I think that a lot of this type of stuff, this kind of like rah kind of topics,
Which again isn't like what I'm going
No,
for.
I know.
But I think that's it relates to the topic.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is like just because someone made it like a rah thing doesn't mean that it's like bad.
Discounted.
Yeah, like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because even though like today, like it's very like we're kind of like turned off to anything that remotely sounds kind of cheesy or rah-rah-ish, we're probably like hypersensitive to it. And I think that there is like a lot of merit to, things like, I don't know, limiting beliefs or like self-talk and, like really trying to channel some things inside of you to get stuff done, and to move past yourself in a lot of ways. So, yeah, even though like, again, so basically I'm trying to say, put that aside a little bit, like try to embrace a little bit of the like thinking about yourself, power, desire, and like how to channel those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wanted to talk about this is because one thing we talked about a few episodes ago, but we talked about I think like naturally me and you, I would say like off the microphone when we're not recording, we definitely talk about this kind of thing a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's like our personalities is just like we are a bit more of like goal oriented and kind of want to get things done and like action minded. And so I want to be careful. Like I don't want to make every episode like kind of that direction. I'm trying hard to have like to be diverse in what we talk about and like think about. But I think what I want to acknowledge is like we are both what's the word, like achievers. That's kind of how we are made. And even being that way, and I'm probably that way like to the extreme. Like I'm a lot that way. I still struggle a lot at being motivated at times and like really want to like go do to work and to get things done. So I was kind of thinking like if you're not this way, if you're a little bit different, kind of how you're built, like it must be really hard at times to be motivated
Yeah.
and to want to get things done. And so I was kind of like thinking through that, and then I had I don't know, like a few weeks ago, I was just kind of thinking about this idea, and I was thinking to myself like, it's good. I think it's good at times, like I don't know what's the word, to like feel that fire under you and to kind of feel like a bit of a oorah, kind of like, again, I don't like the vibe, but I think like it's kind of good to have some of that mentality. I mean, it's good to kind of pump yourself up and like, want to go achieve something, So it's kind of, I guess, the backstory of why I wanted to bring this up.
Well, it's also super relevant for like us in our season of life because like we're very much on like a building stage, of like establishing, getting set up, like we're building towards a lot of things. We can't really like reap the benefits of a lot of things that we're doing. And that's just going to be the reality for like a lot of people, especially when you're a little bit younger, but even later stage too. I mean, there's always going to be something that you're going to kind of have to like struggle for a little bit and like scrape and claw your way towards. I think back to like now, honestly, but I, like very
like
vividly, like today. But I think really vividly, like my last 2 years in college, when it was like really a struggle, like every day trying to motivate myself to like do homework and then to like go to work and then like go see Monique and then go like be at church, like in worship and minister to kids. And like there's definitely like those seasons, but also maybe like those capacities where you're going to be kind of like pushed to the limit a little bit and you can't just stop, but also like no one else is going to do it for you. You know what I mean? Like you have to push yourself to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally relate. And, as you were talking, you like flooded my mind with memories of like school and like
PTSD,
sitting at that desk right there and, early mornings and, long nights, and it sucked.
Yeah.
Anyway, I came across this article and I wanted to, I like paraphrase like a story that I came across, but I think it really communicates like what we're trying to talk about. So there's this movie, I think it was called, let's see if I can pronounce this right. Hold on. Gattaca.
Gattaca? I never heard of it.
Anyway, it's this movie, and in the movie there are two brothers, and so kind of think of like two brothers that are really competitive. I think of AJ and Caleb Hoffman. I grew up with them, and those boys are so competitive. Like they turn everything into a game and a competition. And so in the movie, the names are Vincent and Anton, and it says kind of like, or I guess the story goes that Vincent was kind of like the lesser of the two, and Anton was the older, stronger, like more superior, just like better overall brother. And so kind of in the movie, they had this game they always played where they live near an ocean, or they live near the beach, and so they would do this game, which is so stupid, but they would like start from shore and swim out as far as they could, and the game was whoever turned back first lost. And so kind of basically they're like seeing who's gonna die. I don't know.
Who's gonna give up?
Yeah, stupid game. And so in the movie, like as they kind of grow older and older and older every year, this scene kind of like repeats itself. Like they're constantly swimming out and doing this contest, and every time Anton wins, and the younger brother Vincent like never can keep up with him. He always turns back first because he's afraid. And then I think it was like one of the closing scenes of the movie, but near the end of the movie, they're doing this game. So they're swimming out, and this time Vincent, the younger, lesser of the two, he refuses to turn back, and they're swimming. And like a few times, Anton's like, "Hey, Vincent, like, why aren't you turning back? Like, what are you doing? Like, are you
waiting
sure?"
for him like he usually does.
Yeah, and Vincent just refuses to respond to him, keeps going. And at some point, the guy, his brother Anton's like, "How are you doing this?" And Vincent responds, says, "You know how I'm doing this?" He said, I never saved anything to swim back." And I thought that was interesting. Like his mindset was like, "This is where I'm going, and I'm not going to stop. Like I'm not even going to give myself an option to go back. Like, this is where I'm going." So I thought that was interesting. And then another kind of quick story, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he was like a Greek philosopher. I think Socrates.
Are you kidding me?
Chill out.
I'm embarrassed for you right now, dude. You don't know.
Hold on.
You've never heard of him before.
Socrates. I've heard of him. I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to say I don't know.
Keep trying. Just
Socrates. It's weird. I know I've looked it up before, and I was surprised how weird it was.
Okay, did this figure ever come across in like a history book
Yes,
to you?
I know who he is. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm saying.
Okay.
You think I've never heard of him
So
before?
Well, I don't know, dude, because like
Dude,
99% of the world knows how to.
Okay,
so.
we went to the same school. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't pay attention, but we still went.
His name is Socrates.
I was close.
Socrates?
I said Socrates, so it's Socrates.
Yes, Socrates.
Come on, I was close.
Okay, but still.
Get off of my back, dude.
I'm sorry, everyone.
So the story of Socrates, as his name, Socrates.
Socrates.
What a weird name.
Yeah, it was an old, Greek philosopher.
Who was he?
He was a Greek philosopher. I don't know when he lived. A long time ago, dude.
Okay,
he said lots of cool stuff and was very smart.
Okay, so I'll make this one quick. So there's a story of basically this like young dude that was kind of like under the wing of Socrates and like wanted to learn from him. So he kind of said, "Hey, like show me your ways. Like show me how I can be wise and kind of have understanding like you do." And I'm gonna just glance at this. Okay, so they go swimming, and out of nowhere, Socrates grabs him by the shoulders and holds him underwater, and doesn't let this guy come up. And at some point where he's like gasping for air, like basically kind of stops moving, he lets him up. And the guy comes up and he was like, dude, like what are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? And Socrates' response is, he said, when you want to have wisdom and insight as badly as you desire to breathe fresh air, then you shall have it. And kind of again, just this idea of like, do you desire? Do you want to succeed? Do you want to achieve? Like, how badly do you want it? And if you want it bad enough, like you will have it. You will succeed. That is kind of like in a nutshell what I want to talk about is, I guess like kind of figuring out like for you, like if you're listening, like what do you want? Like what is important in your life? I think like for probably myself and Corey, like for me, I think of more just like I don't know, like career, like business minded ideas. But maybe it's maybe for you it's more I don't know, it's family focused, it's a book, it's I don't know, a hobby, it's I don't know, it's something like that you want to achieve. But I think I don't know, think about what that is for you and identify it, and like any obstacle that could be in your way, like identify the obstacles and like figure out how can you overcome it, how can you push through to kind of get where you want to be.
Yeah. One of the things I think about is like, if you don't want it that much, and like basically the first obstacle comes, and then it's either going to be an excuse to stop, or you don't have the will to find another way. Or if you want it enough, no matter what obstacle comes, or no matter how impossible it seems, you're determined to find a way. And basically there is always a way for something to happen, or for you to get to where you want to go, or for you to achieve what you want to achieve, etc. And I think it's sort of an underrated and like, I don't know, under like utilized thing. Like in the power of our will is just like, there really isn't like a lot of things that can stop someone besides like a physical limitation, basically. I mean, like I think about the NBA, for example. If you're 5 feet tall and you have no athletic ability, like naturally, there's no way that you're going to be in the NBA. So like the whole, like, you can be whatever you want, an astronaut, NBA player, whatever, like that's not necessarily true. But also like those are the outliers. Like 99% of the things that you probably want to do are actually much more achievable than you think. It's just, do you want to do those? And like, are you in the way of you achieving those things, or is something else? And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that you can do than you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think like hearing new stories kind of had me thinking, like, I don't know, it had me like kind of question myself, like, do I like have that kind of like type of what's the word, like, grit or like desire to like want to push through? Like, do I have it? Like, do I have that kind of determination? And I don't know, like I hope that I do, and I want to say that I do, obviously, but I mean, I think kind of like you're saying, it really, any situation you face, if as long as there's not like a physical like limitation, like there's a way like through. There is a way to kind of make things work. You gotta just want it. You gotta want it, I guess, is what
Yeah. Here's something that I heard recently was that motivation is overrated. Because really motivation isn't something that you really control. You kind of just like feel motivated in the moment, or you're motivated by some sort of external force, like, a coach yelling at you, or some sort of consequence, like, if you don't do uh, if you don't get high enough grades, right, you're not going to graduate high school, or your parents are going to disown you, or you're not going to have people tell you you're not going to have a future, etc. But really, like, internal motivation is like very like kind of unpredictable, and like you can't really control it. So really what you should rely on more than motivation, because I think a lot of people like wait or hope for some sort of motivation to do something.
Really
or like they don't do it because they're waiting for themselves to be ready to do it, or they're waiting for some sort of push or nudge, or they're just waiting for some sort of like perfect stars to align scenario where this thing is now possible. But those things almost never happen, and you can't wait around for those things. Like, one, it's more achievable than you think, but also two, if you're waiting for it, it might not ever happen, which is another scary thing to think.
That's a really good point. Again, it's kind of like I was saying earlier, like, I'm like more times than not, I feel motivated. But times when I don't, it's like super hard to like kind of get going. And actually, like recently, I've been experiencing like many times, like more often than not, I'm feeling like a lack of motivation.
Dude, I feel so unmotivated.
Yeah,
like, all the time.
I just recently, I don't know why, and it's honestly kind of like a first for me. I've never really felt this way like consistently, and it's been weird. It's been super weird, but it's been good. It's been been good for me to experience that. But I think you have a solid point about like, I think it's easy for people to like want to wait for like an influx of like motivation and kind of like that feeling, but it may not come. Like,
most likely probably won't.
Yeah, I think you gotta kind of figure out, okay, what is going to motivate you, or what's going to give you energy, or what's going to kind of give you focus. That's like, so I've been trying to do that. Like, I've been having like really in the mornings, like I just don't feel motivated to get going. Like today, I don't know why. Like, Connie was making breakfast and I was like on the couch, like I don't want to be up, and it was I don't know, like it was super weird, dude. And it was like 7:30. I was like didn't want to get going, and I was like I feel so tired, and I got plenty of sleep, and it was I don't know what the issue was, but yeah, I mean I've been trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to kind of like boost myself into motion, like whatever. And so I don't know, I think it's different for everyone. For me, it's been going on a walk and doing some reading and kind of like just doing something to kind of get myself like pumping and going. So
yeah, I mean,
I think it's important.
You have to balance it too, because like there's like one end of the spectrum where it's like I just want to be motivated and I'm not going to do anything unless I'm feeling motivated, and you're kind of just like waiting around for stuff to happen. And then there's the other side, which is like very much like kind of like hustle culture of like, I'm just going to grind it out. I'm going to work 100 hours a week, and I'm going to be like, have like a lot of really unhealthy habits perhaps. And maybe just kind of like idolize, work and like your production of kind of like who you are. But there's somewhere in the middle, right? Where like, I'm not going to wait to be motivated, but also like, I'm not going to kill myself or something. You know what I mean? It reminds me of, something I think about more in like a business context, but I've been hearing it over and over again recently, where people talk about how most businesses don't fail because of like, basically they never really like fizzle out or die out. It's usually like people give up, or there's some sort of like conflict, or there's something that happens, right? There's like some sort of like, they lose a big customer, or there's like an employee, that like does something wrong. There's a data breach. There's a, some sort of like lawsuit or something, right? And so most businesses fail more by suicide than they do other reasons. And so the whole like reason for bringing that up is like, you don't really have to get out there and like kill it and like do a ton. Like, you just have to keep doing something every day. Yeah. And like, you just have to, sometimes you just literally have to survive and like just keep doing really small things over and over again. I was reading about this guy, actually, who I met for the first time. He's probably not listening. His name is Pat Walls. He's a really neat guy. He quit his job last year, and now he has 2 businesses that he kind of runs, online businesses. And he did like an Ask Me Anything kind of session within this small community in the tech world. And someone asked him about if he had any temptations or thoughts about like giving up and quitting. And he was like, every day, like all the time. He's like, I remember 2 moments vividly where I thought like I was planning on kind of like starting something else and like going in another direction. But he's like, even though I had those thoughts, like I just kept doing stuff. And even if it was really small, like I published another interview. I sent another email. And if you just make those small incremental steps and you don't wait for the motivation, you might find that you're farther along than you think you are. And just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that so one thing I've kind of like felt myself falling into is dude, like as you were talking, it kind of hit me. But yeah, like kind of wanting to wait for bursts of motivation, and like I've been letting myself like because historically, whenever I have like felt a lack of motivation, I like never give. I've never in the past I've never given in. I kind of just like push through. Recently, I've been like giving myself like a break, kind of like, you know what, I'm not feeling motivated today. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna be done by 3. I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna be done early, and I've been doing that a lot, and kind of been realizing like kind of catches up to you, I guess, and I don't know. I think there's like a balance. Like, yeah, you know, take time off, like have days off, whatever, but you can't always give in to those feelings. You can't always give in of like, I'm not feeling it, because you may not feel it a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah, so. For sure. I mean, it's always easier to well, I guess I shouldn't say it's easier, but like when you've been doing a lot of stuff and you're like, you know, productive, or you've been kind of in a work schedule, it's pretty easy to keep doing that as long as you stick with that schedule, right? But once, like you said, once you start getting off a little bit early or giving yourself some slack, it's harder to get back into that, because we always want to just keep doing what we do. So as soon as we start doing less or feeling less or giving ourselves a break, it becomes harder to get back into that mode of like, okay, let's go get it. How badly do I want it? And I think that's where like you need that the most, right? Is when you do take those breaks, or when you do give yourself a little bit of slack, and then it's like, okay, well, I can't do this forever, you know, or like now there's some sort of thing I need to finish college, or I need to go get this new job, or I need to, you know, make a little bit more extra money to make ends meet. And like, you can't wait around for that kind of stuff. You have to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, in closing, I pulled a few like questions and thoughts from that article that I wanted to kind of bring up. But one of the things the guy said was, when is the last time that you put everything that you had into something, like so much that it made you like really, really tired? When I read that, I was like, that's really good. Like, I don't know. Like, when was the last time I was like really, really exhausted? And he was kind of comparing it in an article to like working out. He's like, when was the last like really, really hard workout that you had, where you like went really, really hard? Kind of funny. I read this morning, and me and Connie worked out legs yesterday. Oof. And this morning she was like, "Oh, I'm so sore. Are you sore?" And I was like, "Not really." So I was like, "Okay, well."
Busted.
But actually, I mean, honestly, as the day has gone on, I've been feeling a bit more. So kind of.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude.
I have, dude. It hit me. My what are they called? Not your quads. Your
hamstrings.
Hamstrings. Yeah.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, I was like, yeah. I mean, I didn't work out that hard yesterday. Like, sure, I you know, pushed myself, but I could have done a lot more, and could, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, not just working out, but like with anything, like when was the last time that you like made yourself exhausted because you were just like going all in? And I think that's a good thing to think about, you know, like it's kind of hard for me to remember, you know.
Right.
It's a good challenge. It's a good thing to kind of like think about.
When was the last time you were like really pushing yourself and like really challenging yourself? I think that's something that, you know, like athletes are really good at, and that like us like normal people could like take a cue from, is like these dudes put in dudes and dudettes, like girls too, put in a lot of work. And I mean, I think it's a really cool habit of like every day, or I mean, at least like, you know, often, let's see how hard I can go, or like, let's see how much I can push. Let's see how tired I can be, how many calories I can burn. That's like physical, right? But like, what other ways can you apply that to? You know, how many calls can you make today, or how fast can you move tables? I don't know, like how it applies to you, but I think that's definitely a really good thing to think about.
Yeah. Another one was, what should you have started last week, last month, or even last year?
Oof.
And I was like, oh, I got a few. But yeah, I mean, think about like, what is something you've wanted to like start doing that you just you have not done? I don't know, eating healthy, you know, working out, writing a book, starting a website, training your dog. I don't know. Like, what are habits or things you've been kind of pushing off that you need to start? And kind of the next question was kind of tied in, but like, where would that thing, or where would you be now if you started that 5 years ago or a year ago? You
that
know,
always kills me, dude.
it's like a really weird thought, and it's like, yeah, it can feel like defeating. In his article, he was like, my point is not to like discourage you with these questions and challenges, but like he kind of said like, you got to have like an open like look at it. You can't just ignore it. You know, it's kind of like if you feel sick and you're afraid to go to the doctor because you don't want to know what's going on. Like you got to go. You got to figure out what the issue is, and then kind of like you have to diagnose like where are you at, you know, with these things. And so, but I think it's a good challenge. You know, where would you be now if you would have started 5 years ago? You know, or what is it that you need to start?
Well, these questions are actually like very motivating, right? So like,
well,
I mean,
it can be.
Yeah, it can be, or when received correctly or rightly, they should be motivating. So if you're not feeling it and you're like, I don't really want it that bad, ask yourself those questions. When was the last time you really pushed yourself? What's the thing that you've been wanting to start but you haven't yet? What could you have if you started something a year, 5 years ago? Yeah, that hurts for me because I'm always thinking about that. What's the quote? It's like, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
That was literally in an article, but I didn't put it down because it's so cheesy.
But dude, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but also like it really puts it in perspective too, because I think that a lot of times we want to do something and then like we go super hard and like we don't get the results that we want, and then it's discouraging. When in reality, we need to like kind of like lower expectations a little bit, maybe make them a little bit more realistic. And also realize that like this stuff takes time to like, sure, like you started a website or like you created that one thing you've been meaning to, but like, are you going to stick with it for another year or 5 years? Like, you're going to put in the work after that? Like you kind of have to pace yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think where we are at like right now on these last few points is like, I think we're making it really broad. Like do a lot of a lot of things and much of it, and like. That's not really what we're saying. I think what you just said is like dead on, like more about like kind of sticking with it. Like it's not so much about the volume, but it's kind of like more like the impact that you're having. And so, yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, what are you trying to start, and are you like continuing to do it? Don't just start it and stop, which I know we've both been guilty of that with things, but yeah, I mean, like, are you in it for the longer haul? And then his last kind of point he had, I thought was a good point, but he said, that your current position in life is a reflection of your previous desires. And I thought, like, that's really, I think it's pretty profound. Like, that's really true. Like, where you are today is a result of, you know, what you once, like, went after and once wanted and desired. And so, I don't know. I think that's a good spot to end. But, yeah, I mean, one thing I wanted to say was, like, I feel like I almost want to say sorry for talking about this, because I think it does have like just a negative like connotation. Even I think we got to work on the title. But if we do title it "The Power of Desire," like I don't know if I would listen to that. I think if I did, I would be glad that I did. You know, like I'm glad we talked about it. But I think it just gives off like a negative, like it's kind of like a lame vibe,
sobering,
you know. But I think it's good to talk about, and I also want to say like. I'm not sharing this topic as like here's from my vast experience and wisdom. It was more of like kind of recently being on like the opposite side of like I'm having a hard time with it. Guilty, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it. So
yeah, for sure, super guilty of it. And but also, I mean, like, yeah, again, it's both, right? Don't wait to be motivated, and like, dude, get in touch with that desire of yours. Like, what are the things that you're fighting for? You know, like. It really is a sobering question a little bit. It's like just to think about, just to ask yourself those questions. And like I said, maybe it like is hard to hear, but like let it be motivating, and like put those things and let them be motivating to you. Don't let them be discouraging. Like you choose, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, take us home.
I'm up.
That's right.
Yes. My time to shine. Hey, everybody. Time to close. Okay, I'm just playing. We've been announcing this the last few episodes, but we have a few kind of newer things in the works that we're excited about, and we kind of wanted to get some feedback, kind of see if there was an interest in it. So the first thing was we've been talking about putting together like a year-long journal. So if you're interested in that, you can go to cultivateandkeep.com/journal.
Yep,
correct?
Got it.
Boom. But yeah, I think that'd be a cool idea. I think that could be beneficial and cool. So let us know if you're interested. I think you can drop in your email, and kind of we want to kind of get like a tally of people interested. Second thing was we have hoping to have merchandise out soon.
That's right.
So if you want some merch, cultivateandkeep.com/merch.
There you go. It's gonna be hot.
I'm excited.
I'm super
It's gonna
stoked.
be clean.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, I need a hoodie, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Winter's coming. I want a hat too. I
Yeah.
think the hats could be dope.
For sure.
Okay.
Anyway, so I've been looking into it, and every company has like order minimums, so that's kind of why we need to know like what's going on. And
Let's get it.
so if you're interested, let us know. And then lastly is one thing when we started Cultivate and Keep is that we wanted to kind of create like an online like fellowship, like small group type feel. You know, we wanted to offer that. So we're working on creating like a type of like private community that would offer accountability. Like a safe place to kind of talk through ideas and have connections with people. So that's in the works as well. So if interested, cultivateandkeep.com/community.
You got it. Boom,
How
nailed
do I
it.
do?
Dude, totally nailed
Dude,
it.
those slashes and whatever are tongue twisters, man.
I know, a little bit.
I struggle a little bit, but
Yeah.
we got through.
/merch
/merch
/journal /community. All in the show notes.
All right, that's a wrap.
Deuces.